Hey, ladies, welcome to Mommy Never Takes a Break, a podcast that offers perspectives on how we can turn things around and live a life of purpose. I'm your host, Stephanie Rell. I'm a former nurse and now belly fat weight loss coach and certified personal trainer that helps moms transform their bodies, minds, and lives. Join me as I interview health and wellness experts, inspiring entrepreneurs, and kick-ass moms with inspiring stories to share. I'll offer tips and strategies to help you turn things around and live a life of purpose. So grab your coffee, sit back, and enjoy this episode with me, mamas. Welcome to another podcast episode of Mommy Never Takes a Break. And I'm so excited to bring to you today's topic. We're going to be talking about why changing your perspective is the key to truly transforming your life. Now, changing your perspective is something that is truly hard to do, especially when you have had years of dealing with negativity in your life, always feeling like something's going wrong and you just can't get ahead in your life. And I get that. You may have some past traumas in your life, in childhood, in your marriage, in college years, whatever it may be. We've all had some sort of baggage. But it is something truly hard to really change, to really be transformed from, to really heal from. And there are things in our life that we will never, ever forget or come away from. You know, if somebody passed away, a loved one passed away in your life, and, it's really hard to just say, all right, I moved on from that. I forgot about that. Like, no, that will always be a part of you. That is always something that's going to be locked away in your heart. But how you connect with other people, how you choose to live your life as you go forward in your own life is what's important, what we're going to focus on. And it's not only death in your family, but other stressors, other challenges that come along the way. And I say this time and time again, stress is never going to stop. There's always going to be some sort of stressor that comes into your life and may try to knock you off path of maybe you're doing well. Maybe you're getting the promotion, or you're doing well in your business, making money, you're doing well in your weight loss journey, but something comes along, because there always is going to be something that comes along, because we live here on earth, and on earth, there is always some sort of harm. There's evil that exists in this earth. So there's no way that stress will never come to fruition in your life. But there is a but, and that but is how you respond, how you view the situation, and what you do with that situation. So important, so key. So here we're going to talk about how we're going to do this and how we can make this part of our life forever, really. So let me start with how perspectives are viewed. So we have two different distinct sides of our perspective. There's either the positive side or the negative side. Okay, there's no in between. It's just either positive or negative. And you may have heard this term before. Is the glass half full or half empty? You might have heard that many, 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 many times before. And if you think about it, there's a term that goes along with how you view the glass. If the glass is half empty to you, you are considered to be more of a pessimist, which means you tend to find and see all the wrong in every situation. Now, if you see the glass half full, you are considered what is an optimistic. That means you see and find the good in everything, every situation, despite the wrong that is going on around you. Okay? And this can be very hard, but there are people that are more inclined to be optimistic. I, for one, tend to be more of the optimistic side. Now, that's not saying that I am always chipper, I'm perfect, I know exactly that everything's going to be okay and all that. That's far from the truth, because I've had my fair share of time where I've wondered what's going to happen next. I had a little inkling of doubt. I was scared. I was nervous. And I did whatever I could to see the positive, and I would try to speak positively. And definitely around other people, I would always be the one to be more of an encouraging spirit and talk positive. But deep inside, when I was truly by myself and really thinking about the situation, I'm like, man, how is this going to play out? I know that I have a God that I can trust in, and he has, he has me in mind, my best interests. But we still live in an evil world. We still live in sin and in a sinful world. And there could be something very negative that could result from the situation. And I've had my moments like that. But one thing that has held me together, that has made me strong throughout my life, is that I clung to the positive. No matter if I had a little bit of doubt, no matter if I was scared, I clung to the positive because I knew no matter what, thinking negatively and living in that negative, always worrying, always being scared, wasn't going to change the situation. It wasn't. No matter how worried I got, it wasn't going to change the outcome of the situation. All it did was tear me up inside, create more anxiety, put me not at rest, filled me with fear and stress, impacted my health. That's what negativity and clinging on to all the worry, doubts, and fears created for me, versus clinging on to the positive, having faith, continually praying without ceasing, and thinking and brainstorming that if things did not go the way I wanted to, or the way it should, or, everything okay, if that didn't happen, I needed to know my next step. I needed to know how I could be there for the people I love, how I can move on from the situation, how I can change things around if that was an option. I was proactive in my feelings versus living in my feelings and becoming a prisoner of them. So I want you to take that in mind when you're faced with some situations, some stressors. And I know it's hard, trust me. The biggest thing I worry about is my children. I worry if, I'm doing everything possible that they turn out right as adults. I worry for their well-being. If I go out with them alone and no one is going to harm us or abduct us or anything, a car accident, all these things I constantly think about. But I don't want to be a prisoner to that fear. I don't want to be the person that because of my fear, I'll never take my children out, or I'll never live a life of freedom. I'll never allow them to do things that they desire, allow them to have fun with friends, all because of my fear. I can't live that way. And there are people that are living that way based on how they view the world, based on their fear, being a prisoner to their fear, to the outcomes, to their worries, their doubts, even before such a thing could ever happen. Now, yes, there's a thing like, okay, Steph, but we don't want these things to happen to our children. So what are you trying to say? Just let them live freely and whatever happens, happens? No, that is not what I'm saying at all. We have to do our diligence as parents to protect our children, love them, and give them the best of us so they can be the best. But it's a different story when we're not allowing them to live freely also. We want to live in freedom, but because we can't get out of or get past ourselves and feel that freedom, instead being a prisoner, we're allowing our children to be prisoners, or anybody else that we love, that we worry about, or fear. Maybe it's a job. You're in fear of not doing well at your job, not getting that promotion, not feeling fulfilled in that job. But then that hinders you from actually getting the promotion, from actually maybe finding another job that is a better fit for you, for actually starting that business that you've been desiring to do, but you feel like it's going to flop. You think it's going to crash and burn. You're going to go into debt. You're worrying about all these different things before it even happens, instead of thinking about the positive things that can come and doing things the right way. Having a plan of action, being proactive, and stepping out in faith versus fear. So I want to challenge you today. I want you to think about the things that you truly desire. If it's starting a business, if it's getting that promotion, if it's being the best mom so that your children grow up to be amazing adults, amazing parents themselves, if it's losing weight, you got to start with getting past yourself and start believing in yourself, believing that you are capable of working through these feelings that you get when you have fear, these feelings of the fear of the unknown. We can't live in that and be prisoners of the fear of the unknown. And oftentimes that's where excuses come from. Oh, I don't have motivation to do exercise. It's so hard. There's so many people at my job. They're so negative and it's hard to be positive around them. And you know what? I'm just comfortable where I am. I know that I have a passion to start a business and I'm really good at this particular thing, but I know that it's going to be hard and I might go into debt trying to, get all the things I need for it. And it just might not work out. Stop saying might. Stop saying hope. Stop saying, I don't know, when you haven't even put your faith into action. Faith is dead when you don't put it into action. You can't just say, this is what I want for my life. There is such a thing as manifesting your dreams and your desires. I truly believe that. But unless you act upon it, unless you put the systems in place, the steps in place, you implement the things that you need for that to happen, then saying it is going to be dead. It's like talking to the wall. Nothing is going to happen. So we need to start changing our perspective about the outcome that we desire. Please repeat that with me. I need to change my perspective about the outcome I desire. We can't just expect things to happen on their own. We need to activate our faith, put it into action. And we need to stop letting fear overcome us. Stop coming up with these excuses. Stop feeling as a victim to our circumstances, because circumstances will continually come up. Do you think that the most successful people in life never faced adversity? Do you think that the billionaire out there with a successful business never had the same doubts that you had? Never had the struggles that you had? You don't know people's journeys. This is a thing that a lot of people get wrong. They often compare themselves to others. They often feel like they're a victim. They feel like they're never going to get ahead. They feel stuck, but they're basing it on someone else's journey. And your journey is not someone else's journey. Your journey might seem like it's so long, but in reality, if you knew someone else's journey who's at the place where you want to be, you probably would be astonished at how many obstacles came in their way in order to get to where they are today. And don't give me the baloney of looking at social media and seeing everybody's highlight reel. Because when people post on social media, They are only posting the things that they want you to see. They want you to know. You may not know that that person that's posting lavish photos of their beautiful family may be getting a divorce soon or having trouble with their kids. Their kids are being kicked out of school. Who knows what the situation is? But all you're seeing is what they want you to see. Now, think about it in your own sense. If you were posting to social media about your own family, about your own business, about your own weight loss progress, would you be posting all the hurtful things that you are going through? I don't think so. I'm one that I like to share when I'm going through something, some issues. I can get a little vulnerable with people. I want to let people know that I'm vulnerable, that I'm human, I'm not perfect. But I'm not going to share the nitty gritty of what me and my spouse fought about, because that's personal, that's private, that's between us. But I will admit to people that my marriage isn't perfect. Same thing with my children. Same thing with my weight loss. Same thing with my business. None of those entities are perfect. I'm a work in progress. My marriage is a work in progress. My parenting is a work in progress. My weight loss is still a work in progress. Even though I lost 60 pounds, which I am proud of and I'm happy and I love the body I'm in, but I'm still working on building muscle and having a nicer physique. There's more goals that I want to get to. And I have had some plateaus. I'm not perfect. I'm not. But my journey is different than your journey. And I want you to hear this today, to stop comparing yourself to others. Do not compare yourself to me or anybody else that you may admire. There's one thing to admire someone because you're like, I aspire to be like them. They did it, so I can do it too. That kind of mentality behind it, but not like idolizing. There's a difference between aspiring and idolizing someone. Do not idol anyone, okay? Because you are uniquely you. You are the most beautiful you. And you were created with a purpose. You were put on this earth for a purpose. And you need to chase what that purpose is for your life, not someone else's dream, not someone else's purpose. Because if you go after someone else's purpose, someone else's dream, you will crash and burn because that was not meant for you. Do not be taking up anyone else's crosses. Do not put yourself in a ditch, because that's what's ultimately going to happen. It's going to be hard to get out of when you're chasing something else that wasn't meant for you. So do you believe that your glass is half empty or full? You can answer it by this. Yeah, maybe you always kind of thought that way. You thought the glass was half empty. I never would get ahead in life. I'm struggling with bills. I'm struggling to get this weight off. It just won't come off me no matter what I've tried. I've done every diet. I've done every exercise program out there. I'm just struggling. I keep bouncing back and forth between the same amount of pounds. I feel like I'm never going to lose this weight because of my age, because of my hormones, because of my time constraints. Those are limiting beliefs right there. Why? Because it's limiting you to get to what you want, and you're not believing in yourself. So I challenge you today to start really shaping your perspective toward the positive and cling on to that for dear life, because that's what's going to keep you afloat. It's like the lifesaver that they throw out to you when you're in the middle of the ocean so they can reel you in. That's what that positivity is going to do for you, versus your leg being tied to an anchor as it sinks to the bottom of the ocean. You will sink with it if you cling on to the negative. I know that there are things that are scary in this life. I felt it. I still feel it at times, but there is hope, and you just simply need to hold on to that float, that's lifesaver, and let it pull you in. Let it pull you into the boat so that you can ultimately chase your desires and your dreams. Because if you let the anchor hold on to your ankle and sink, cause you to drown, it's going to continually be a vicious cycle for you. And it's so hard to get out of that cycle, let me tell you right now, because as human beings, we are more inclined to the negative. You know, if there's gossip going on, we kind of want to hear what's going on. Don't lie to me. We kind of want to know, what's going on? What happened? Or what about a car accident? I always think about this when there's traffic. I'm like, why is there traffic? And then as we get to like toward the end where it breaks free, right there was an accident. So the traffic was because everybody is slowing down and stopping to see what's going on. We're all nosy. We're all nosy. We all are inclined to look and be a part and listen to what negative outcome is happening. We often think if we don't hear from someone, we text them, we haven't heard from them in a few hours, maybe a day, we think something happened to them, something bad happened to them. Why? Because our human nature is curious and wants to know what's going on. Because it's something to cling to. It's almost like a security thing. Because when we go and cling on to the positive, right, there's uncertainty there. It's hard to get out of what can be a little more comfortable. And this is also a learned behavior through the years. Maybe our own parents were more inclined to be negative. So now we're negative. We need to break these cycles. We need to start clinging on to faith and put it into action. We need to change our behaviors, start reframing our mindset around this, because we need to be the change that this world needs. Too much negativity is going on in this world, and it's more of an epidemic than COVID. You may not believe it, but it's more of an epidemic than COVID. And so we need to really just uplift each other, be more encouraging, love each other, be more positive, and stay afloat. So if you are trying to start a business, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to do well with your parenting skills and love on your children or be a better wife, whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish in this life that you desire, maybe you're trying to seek out what your purpose is in this world. How are you going to impact other people? How are you going to try to find true happiness? It starts with you, and you need to start asking yourself these questions. How can I change my perspective on my current situation, my current lifestyle? How can I exercise my mindset every single day so that this doesn't continually be a problem for me, that I'm constantly living in doubt, fear, questioning everything, worrying myself to the point of hurting my health, because stress is a killer. It is a killer. It can cause the most craziest things to happen to your body, from ulcers to cancer. My husband had cancer in 2011. He had tongue cancer, and the doctor said that the precursors for that was smoking and chewing tobacco and alcohol. None of what my husband ever did before. But he worked at a very strenuous and hard job where his boss was kind of like a dictator, screamed at him all the time, and he would come home completely defeated and tired. And I truly believe that this came on to him because of the amount of stress he was under. And thanks be to God today that he is 10 years out and healed from it. But I constantly am looking after him so that he doesn't fall into that type of stress again. And so I want the same for you guys. I want the same. I want you to truly live your best life. I want your life to be truly transformed so that you can live free and pursue your purpose today. So that's it for today's episode. I hope that was encouraging to you. If you want to reach out, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you can send me a DM or comment below and let me know how you thought about the episode today. And I can't wait for next week's episode because I'm going to have my very first guest, another mama, to talk about another topic where we are going to change your perspective on life. Feel free to subscribe to this podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and hit that bell button for more updates on when a podcast comes out. And I can't wait to connect with you. Take care, everyone.